So in today's class, we are going to calculate monthly payments to recover a loan given annual periods and then given an annual interest rate. You have been given a loan that has to be repaid in 15 years, and their annual interest rate is 20%. Their work is to determine monthly payments. How do we do that? Let's begin by saving our file. We can save it as example 2. We'll go to save as this PC. So let me just save it under this folder of ICT for Business. ICT for Business, and I'll call it example 2. I'll call it example 2. I save as let us just save it as loan monthly payments. Loan monthly payments. Then you click OK. Okay, so we say that there are certain things that you have to do first when you're drafting this loan amortization schedule. You need to first list down the amount of the loan that you're going to repay. Amount of the loan. So you need to capture the loan amount. You need to capture the interest rate. Then capture what else are we supposed to capture? Interest rate. The period. Okay, so you've been given a loan amount of 15 mil. You've been given, let me see, suppose you want to borrow money to buy a house. You are considering a 15-year loan, so period is 15 years. Okay, a 15-year loan. The lender offers different interest rates reflecting the risks in the shorter loan and the longer loan. The 15-year loan has an annual interest of 20%. So interest is 20%. Then the loan amount here is 150 million. Okay, so we can put the commas by, okay, let's go here. The comma icon is here. Click on it. Okay, we can remove the decimal digits. Okay, so this is our main information that we need. Let us now create the template of the loan amortization. Okay, so the template, we said we begin with the period. Begin with the period or periods. That is the first column. Our second column is periodic payment. Which periodic payment? We are going to use a formula based on what we have up here to determine our periodic payment. So periodic payment. After periodic payment, you need a column for interest. You also need a column for accumulated interest. interest. Okay, so if this word is so huge and you don't want it to capture the whole cells, you can wrap text. Now when you say wrap text, we want to compress this. We want to compress this cell so that it appears smaller. So you can click on, select the entire cell. While you're inside that cell, you right click, select format cells, go to alignment section or tab, you click on wrap text, then click on OK. See, the cell is now compressed. Okay, you can make this entire row to be bold in color. Okay, so it's now bold. That's interest, accumulated interest. Then we can have the principal, then accumulated principal. Now that accumulated principal means you're summing up all the principals. So you're summing up principal at each level that you reach. That's what it means. Okay, have accumulated principal. Then lastly, we have the outstanding balance or the remaining balance, what you're supposed to pay to recover that loan amount. That is what we call outstanding balance. Okay, so that is our template. Now the periods that you have here, your work is just to broaden this. So here it's the total number of periods, but here you have to list the periods down. But before you go on to list the periods, you need to understand your question very well. So I can put simple borders, but we shall customize them to the available periods after we have put the periods in. So if you're to go, when you're going in for a question that requires you to draft a loan amortization schedule, you should have such a template in your mind. Yeah, there are 7 rows. Yeah, there are 7 columns. Periods, periodic payment, interest, accumulated interest, principal, accumulated principal, and outstanding balance. Now let us include the name of this loan amortization schedule. I'm going to insert a row above. Okay, insert a row. So you can merge these cells. How do we merge cells? You just drag them, then still under home tab, you go to alignment section, you click on merge and center. Okay, merge and center. We had not yet typed in something, that's why we haven't seen the effect. But once you type in loan amortization schedule, okay, you can bold it. Okay, now there we go. Let's go back to our question. They are telling you, if you borrow 150 million, what would be your monthly payments? But when you look at the information provided for you, you have been given manual. That's all. You've been given data which is in form of years. Okay, now that means that we are supposed to do some conversions here. You've been given an annual interest rate and you've been given period in years. Okay, now that means these are for annual, Then what you're going to calculate aside here are for monthly. Okay, so put one section annual, then this is monthly. We need to convert. If you want to determine periodic payments per month, then you must use a monthly interest rate, and you must convert the periods in form of months. That is what we are going to do now. If we are to convert this annual interest rate into months, how can we convert this? Do we divide or multiply? Let me have an answer from the audience. Do we divide? Because we want to make it annual. Now anything to do with annual, those are 12 months, okay? So do we multiply this interest rate by 12 months, or do we divide this interest rate by 12 months? Let me have an answer.
I think you multiply by 12.
Why are you multiplying by 12? Remember, this is annual interest rate. If you're to pay this loan in per year, this is what you pay annually. So are you sure we multiply by 12?
Now we divide.
We divide, because this is a block interest, but we want to know what we are going to pay per month. That is why we divide. So equal sign, get the annual interest rate, okay? But fix it. We said we fix by pressing the F4 button. So press the F4 button, the dollar signs will appear. The F4 button is on the keyboard, okay? Then look for multiplication symbol on your keyboard times the 12 months. So we want to divide up. We want to know how much interest are we going to pay per month. You click OK. Okay, that means one had to pay 2.4 per month as interest rate. Now you've been given 15 years, but you want to convert them in 2 months. Would we divide by 12 months, or we multiply by 12 months?
Madam, you have to do.
Yes?
You have to divide. Multiply.
Hey, okay, I multiplied. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was supposed to divide. Press enter. Now this is the interest rate per month. Now how about the periods? Do we divide or we multiply to get years in months? Remember, these are 15 years. How do we convert them to months? So to convert them in months, you have to multiply. So equal sign, get the 15 years, multiply them by the 12 months. Okay, but you need to fix this. Fix it by pressing the F4 button. Press enter. Now this loan has to be repaid in 180 months. Now that is what I talked about yesterday. Under period here, you don't have to type 1 to up to 180. There is a formula that can help us. Just type in and then you'll be able to get the 180. But before we start entering in the periods, we want to determine the monthly periodic payments. There is a column we need to insert here, and that row, we need to insert a row. That row is called periodic payment. Periodic payment. Periodic payment. Okay. Now, if you had been asked to